Hello there folks, my name is Spoonks, and the day has finally come. The Sandy Cheeks movie has arrived on Netflix. I have heard a lot of things, a lot of negative things about this film, how wretched it is, how vile, how it is a complete train wreck, how it completely destroys any goodwill of anything SpongeBob related in the modern times. It is truly an absolute atrocity. I heard all of these things and many more, and yet I still decided to give it a chance. As the big SpongeBob geek I am, I decided to give this movie the benefit of a doubt. Maybe people are overreacting. Maybe people just want to hate on something just 'cause. Maybe there's something more to this movie that no one else is seeing here. I went into this film begging for this to be the case. And no, my friends, no. This film is really, really bad. But I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people made it out to be. Yes, folks, this movie is terrible, horrible. Hell, I wouldn't even mind if you called it atrocious, but I do not believe this signifies like the end of SpongeBob. I feel like that is just a complete overreaction. Yes, this movie is terrible, it's awful, I would never watch this again, I would not recommend this film to anyone, but I do feel like this is just, the reaction this has gotten has been a bit overblown. Yeah, just one movie being really bad does not mean that SpongeBob is over, it's done. This is just one of those things where, like, you know, we have one really, really bad egg and a lot of people notice it and they want to talk about this bad egg. And to me, it's not like I don't understand it. SpongeBob means a lot to a lot of people, myself included, and when you see something you love and cherish reduced to something like this, I get it, but I feel like definitely because of that, a lot of people want to really just reach out to the stars with the reaction for this film. But still, I don't think it's unwarranted because this movie is really, really bad. I can't defend this. I really can't. Even though I think the reaction to this has been a bit overblown, it's not like I can't argue against it. This was really bad. There was potential for this movie, you know, making a spin-off about Sandy Cheeks. That's a great start. Sandy Cheeks is a really cool character. Some people's favorite character in SpongeBob, and having her going on her own action-packed scientific adventure in Texas, that sounds like an A+ right there. And the film has ideas about exploring her backstory, you know, why she's in Bikini Bottom in the first place, and her family's background, you know, and that stuff sounds interesting. There's a lot of potential for this movie, but unfortunately it wastes it because it doesn't really explore any of these ideas, not just because of the fact that the movie is really short, but the film is more focused on being wacky and silly and telling a lot of jokes, which isn't a bad thing, you know, as long as the movie is funny. You can probably guess where the problem is here. The wacky and silly tone just comes off as obnoxious and overbearing at some point. The film never slows down, it never takes a break. It is always silly, wacky, and over the top, just so because it can be, you know, SpongeBob is really weird, so we gotta make this movie really weird. And after a while, it just becomes grating and obnoxious, and you just want the film to sit down and drink something to, you know, put it to sleep or something, you know. And as on to the jokes, a couple of them were really funny, and by a couple I mean 7. In a movie with like 200 jokes, there were 7 that actually made me legitimately laugh. The rest of the jokes, like I said, in regards to the tone, were so forced and in your face and just downright odd that some of them don't even make a lot of sense. They just like, okay, that I guess that happened, I guess that's a joke, but it wasn't funny. They either run a lot of jokes into the ground or start off a joke that does start off a bit funny, gives you a chuckle, but they drag it on to the point where, like, okay, this is no longer funny, move on folks, let's keep it moving. And because the main focus of this movie does not work, you have to read into the movie as a whole how it does working with its story and its characters, and it just completely craps the bed on those aspects. The story here is not good. Again, there's not a lot of time to really flesh out and develop these ideas. The film is just always on the move. It never ever gives you a break. Hell, like even Mario had some time where it felt like it was slowing down more so than this movie. Even Kung Fu Panda 4 felt like there were times where it was slowing down a bit slower than this movie. This movie is always on the move, and it never has enough time because, once again, it's focusing on the really absurd tone and, you know, the really bad comedy. And because of that, the really strong ideas here do not get fleshed out the way they do. And the way it handles its absurd tone is by making some things even really, really out there and wacky, to the point where it doesn't even feel absurd and wacky. It just feels stupid just for the sake of being stupid. Like, haha, see, this villain's plan is really, really stupid. Haha, a lot of the chase sequences in this movie are really, really stupid, huh? And the characters in this movie don't really do much. You have the other Bikini Bottom mice just hanging out, waiting for Sandy and SpongeBob to come back and save them. You have the villains of the film who suck, like Wanda Sykes is trying, but the material is just not there. These characters, these new human characters, are just they just suck. They are not interesting in the slightest. Sandy she has potential, and you know, the voice actors, how all of the actors are doing a good job naturally, but again, they don't have enough time because, again, her focus and her development is on, you know, the quest and always on the move, go, 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 go. So we don't really get to explore her backstory all that much because she is always on the move, because the movie's on the move. And then you have SpongeBob, who is just the goofy comic relief, and unfortunately I felt more like Squidward watching this movie, dealing with him, because unfortunately he just wasn't that funny. A lot of his jokes were just really bad puns, Looney Tunes style slapstick, or just really stupid corny jokes. It just didn't work. And the animation, my goodness, I get it. This is probably not a studio that had all the resources it needed. It didn't have the biggest budget, but yikes, the animation doesn't look that great. When the Fairly Odd Parents new reboot looks 10 times better than this movie on Netflix, you know you did something wrong here. A lot of the animation just looks rough, and whenever they combine the animation with the live action, it looks super noticeable. There are some times where they have like these other animals like raccoons and snakes, and they look awful. They look out of place. It's all just super cheap and so poor looking, unfortunately. I don't want to, you know, blame the animators. They were working with what they had, but my god, this thing did not look really strong, unfortunately. So yeah, this movie, oh my lord, this movie sucked. I'm sorry. And this is coming from a avid SpongeBob fan. I mean, hell, I like some of the new episodes. I even like the Patrick Star show. I know a lot of people don't like those things, but I do. I thought those two were really, really fun. I even liked the last SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run. I thought that movie was really solid, but they just gave me nothing to work with here, unfortunately. Again, I understand the complaints. I understand the criticism, even though I think it may have been a bit overblown, but my god, this movie let me down. As a big SpongeBob fan, I hope this doesn't, you know, carry on over into some of the other planned spin-off movies. I know there's going to be a Plankton movie, maybe even a Patrick movie, and I hope the next official SpongeBob movie coming out next Christmas is much better than this, because my goodness, this let me down. This really, really let me down. So those are my thoughts on the Sandy Cheeks movie. What did you all think of it if you've seen it? Did you like this? Did you hate this? What were your thoughts? How did you feel about this movie? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all the social media links at the end of the video. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp.
Wish I was back in Texas no place for a squirrel. Wish I was in